We're learning more about the possible cause of the Ethiopian Airlines crash that killed 157 people earlier this month. The Wall Street Journal reports a crash investigators believe the Boeing 737 MAX airplane's stall prevention feature was automatically activated prior to the crash. The system in question is the same flight control feature suspected of causing the Lion Air crash, which killed 189 passengers 5 months earlier. Boeing 737 MAX jets will remain grounded worldwide until the FAA and other regulators certify a software fix for the plane. Mike Slack is a licensed pilot, former NASA engineer and aviation attorney. He joins me now from Austin, Texas. So, Mike, help us understand what may have happened now that we've got this report and it says that the stall prevention system was activated in the Ethiopian Airlines crash.
Well, there's a lot of speculation and some reporting that the sensors, the angle of attack indicator or the air data sensors, were inputting erroneous information. That could possibly be the case, although angle of attack indicators have been around a long time. There's two basic kinds. They're generally very reliable. So that does need to be questioned as to whether it's really the sensors themselves or the interaction of the sensors with the rest of the system. Think of this as a total system. Sensors connect to the control system of the aircraft that interact with the software that activates when it senses a stall about to happen. And the last part of that system are the human beings that are flying the aircraft or attempting to fly the aircraft. So the complete system needs to be understood. What causes it to kick off? Does the system have its own logic to detect the error and perhaps reject the data? Whatever Boeing puts in as the fix now has to be completely evaluated to determine if the new system is comprehensive and safe.
And this week, Boeing did unveil a software update. They made changes to how pilots are trained. But the Wall Street Journal says this: instead of relying on a single sensor indicating the angle of the plane's nose, MCAS will rely on data from both the plane sensors as part of the fix, and the FAA will also mandate certain cockpit alerts about incorrect sensor data. What's your reaction to this response?
Well, those are natural things to occur in improving the system from 1 to 2 sensors, so there's redundancy. But then you still have to deal with the fact if the 2 sensors disagree, what is the logic in the system that copes with that disagreement? So there's still questions to be answered. You've got a complicated design situation here that's being driven by the fact that apparently Boeing does not think the pilots can safely manage the aircraft without the system. But now the system is accountable for 2 fatal crashes. So there's understanding about the inherent stability of the airplane that needs to be understood. And with this new modified system, what is it that is going to happen differently that makes it safe? And then finally, can the problem be replicated in a simulator so that pilots can be introduced to the problem safely in a simulator and understand how to react, shut the system down, and take manual control of the aircraft and produce a safe outcome?
And then, Mike, there's this whole issue of self-regulating. How do you expect the FAA to go about certifying these planes, given the backlash that there's been going on over their approach to oversight and their responsibilities?
Well, I think you'll probably see the FAA, at least in the short term, engage directly in the review process. Obviously, they're under a tremendous amount of scrutiny. The question is, going forward on the next aircraft that comes through certification, particularly supplemental type certification as occurred here, raising the question of, is it more appropriate to go through a complete certification rather than an incremental certification, such as what Boeing attempted to do? And then the other question is, how much are we going to allow Boeing to do in terms of its delegated authority, and will there be changes in the direct oversight role that the FAA exercises as opposed to the Boeing delegated, those employees that are delegated by the FAA to certify their own systems, the aircraft and the systems? Lots of potential changes coming ahead for future certifications. But for right now, expect the FAA, because of the intense scrutiny, to be very hands-on in this review that's taking place with respect to the MCAS and the MAX 8.
Mike Slack, so grateful you could join us, Mike.
Thank you.